told that variables x and y are such that when y is plotted against x, a straight line passing through 1, 3, 1, 3, and 4, 18 is obtained. In this question, you are supposed to express y in terms of x. What are you supposed to do given such kind of a question? I'm going to take you through easy steps you can be able to use. Now, since you are told a straight line graph is obtained, so take note of that. Take note of this information that y root y against root x is plotted, then a straight line is obtained. So it's something that you need to ask yourself, what is the equation? What's the general equation of a straight line? The general equation of a straight line, yes, it's actually y equals to mx plus c. That's the general equation of a straight line. So meaning, in this question, in the process of working it out, what do you need to find? You need to find the gradient, and also you need to find the y-intercept. Those are the only things that you need in order to work out this particular equation. Now let us go ahead and work out the gradient. Now from this point, we know that m is the gradient, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That now in this case, our y2, we can say this is our x2, y2, and we can call this x1, y1. So in order to find the gradient of this line, we're going to say now our y2 is 18 minus x, our y2 is 18 and our y1 is 3, so we shall subtract 3 here. x2 is 4 minus x1, which is 1 at this given point. So meaning we are going to have subtract 1 at that point. So if we work it out, we are going to remain with 15 over 3, which is actually equivalent to 5. So the gradient of this line is going to be 5. So meaning when we are going to write this equation here, our gradient is going 5 is going to be replacing the value of m that we have at that point. Now, the second thing that we've said we are going to find is the y-intercept. So we're going to say, and a y-intercept is where the line cuts the y-axis. So meaning here, writing this equation the way it is, y is equals to m, but m is 5, so we can say 5x plus c. And our c, we don't know it, so we are yet to find it. So in the process of working out the value of c, I want you to identify, we can be able to use any of the equation, either any of the coordinate, either this one or we can even use this one, right? So we can be able to substitute into this where we have, okay, now we can say decide if we are using 4 and 18, where we have y, we are going to write 18. Where we have x, we are going to write 4, so that we are able to find the value of c that we are having at this given point. So what's our y? Our y is actually 18. So we are going to write this is as 18 here equals to 5. 5 times, because this sign is multiplication here, 5x means 5 times the value of x, but the value of x is actually 4 here. So we are going to say times 4, then we shall say plus c at that point. So meaning we are going to have this as 18 is equals to 20 plus c. So if we find the value of c by taking this on the other side, we are going to have 18 minus 20, which is equivalent to 2, negative. If we subtract that, we are going to get negative 2 as the value of c. So here we are having y equals to, our equation becomes y equals to 5x minus 2, right? But remember, in this equation or in this question, we were told that express y in terms of x. Now, in this equation here, we were not having on the y-axis we were not having y, and on the x-axis we were not having x. We just used that because this is a straight line. So meaning we are going now to replace this part here with what we have on the y-axis. So we are going to say, yeah, so this is going to become square root of y is equals to 5. Now on the x-axis we are having x squared, so we shall write x squared then minus 2 the way it is here. So since we are finding y in terms of x, we have to square both sides so that we get rid of the square root. Then we shall have y is equals to, into bracket, 5x squared minus 2 then squared. That way we can decide and leave our answer this way, or we can be able even to expand it so that we can be able to get in a simplified form. So in the event you are given a question like this, the first thing to do is to remember that this is a straight line, and a straight line takes this format, is y equals to mx plus c. So in order to find now the general equation of this straight line, we are going to find the gradient first. Then once you get the gradient, then you go ahead to find the y-intercept, all right, the way we did it at this given point. So once you get now the equation of the general equation of a straight line, you replace whatever you are having on the y-axis to be where this y is, and whatever you have in the x-axis, you replace it where you are having this x. And then now you can be able to simplify that much further, and you end up having something like this. So let us look at another question now. That in this question we are told that variables x and y are such that y equals to ab raised to power x, where a and b are constants. The diagram that we are having here shows the graph of ln of y against x, such a way that we have a straight line graph that is going to pass through the point 24 and the point 810. The first question that we are asked at this given point, we are asked to transform this equation that we have here into a straight line form. In order to transform this relationship that we are having at this given point, we are going to introduce natural log both sides. So we are going to say natural log of y is equals to natural log of a b raised to power x. And from the laws of logarithms, if you are having natural log of ab, that is log of ab, where a and b are multiplied, this can be written as natural log of a plus natural log of b. We can be able to split those two that are together. So between a and b we have a multiplication sign, so which means that this can be written as natural log of y is equals to natural log of a plus natural log of b raised to power x. We cannot stop there, because if you are given another law of logarithm, that natural log of b over x, that can be written as x natural log of b. So meaning that you can be able to take the power that we are having at this point behind the log. So we are going to have our final answer written as natural log of y is going to be equals to natural log of a plus x natural log of b that we are having here. Now, this means our equation that we have here is in the form y equals to mx plus c. So if I write this as natural log of y is equals to natural log of b x plus natural log of a. This one obeys the equation y equals to mx plus c, which we are going to now use to work out this question below here. The second part, so for this part here, this is what we are supposed to leave our question at. This is the level we are going to leave our question at. We have transformed into a straight line form. Now the next step is to find the values of A and B. Remember, in this equation, we were having y equals to AB raised to power x, but the graph of ln of y is plotted against x to get a straight line graph. So this straight line has got a general equation, and the general equation of a straight line is actually y equals to mx plus c. But on the y-axis, we are having ln of y. So this is actually representing ln of y, and this x that we are having is representing this x that we are having at this point. But we are going to work with this equation the way it is so that we can be able to find the value of m and the value of c first. Now, since this is a straight line, we are going to say now gradient m is actually y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is the formula you use in order to find the gradient over a straight line. So if you can look at this equation that we have at this point, we can now call this our x2, we can say this as our y2 at this point, and we can decide this to be our x1 and this to be our y1, so that we can be able now to work out the gradient, and that will be 10 minus 4 over 8 minus 2. So you can see we end up having 6 over 6, which is actually 1. And our gradient in this case is 1. So meaning that we can be able to write this equation as y is equals to 1x plus c, whereby c is a y-intercept. Also meaning we can be able to use one of the points that we were given here in order to find this y-intercept. So we can maybe decide and say using 810, the point 810. Under the point 810, x is 8 and y is 10. So we can be able to replace y with 10 and say this is going to be 1 times 8, then plus c. So in that way, we'll be able to find the y-intercept, and this is going to be 10 minus 8 is equals to c, which implies that our c is equivalent to what? Is equivalent to, our c is equivalent to 2 in this case. So we have the y-intercept, and also we have the gradient of this line. Now remember, we had done the transformation of this function, or this relation that we were having there. We transformed it to be in this format. So which will mean that we can still go ahead and use that information that we have. We have the, now that we have the constant, which is the y-intercept, and also we have the gradient, I want you to look at the equation that we are having here. This is equation of a straight line. Now, we can be able to say our equation that we have is natural log of y is equals to ln of b x plus ln of a. So meaning that if we are writing and comparing the equation of a straight line equals to mx plus c, then this one here is going to represent the gradient. And this part that we have here is going to represent the y-intercept. And the y-intercept, we have gotten it to be 2. And the gradient that we are saying that this is representing is actually the one that we have at that point. So meaning in order to find what the value of A and B are, we are going to say now ln of B is going to be equal to the gradient. And the gradient in this case, the gradient is 1. So we are going to say ln of B is equals to 1. Now, in order to get rid of a natural log, we are going to introduce exponent both sides. So you shall say exponent, so that this and this will cancel out. Our B is going to be E is to 1, which is actually equal to E. And also for ln of A is equal to the y-intercept, which is C. and our C, we had gotten it at this given point, which is 2. So we are going to say at this point, ln of A is equals to C, and our C is actually 2 as shown there. So meaning that we are going to introduce exponent also here in order to get the value of A. So that we can now say introducing exponent, 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 and natural log cancels. We end up having our A equals to E is to what? 2. And that is exactly what we were supposed to remain with when we are given a question like that. If you are new to Proflan YouTube channel, consider subscribing so that in time I'm going to upload another tutorial, you'll be notified. See you in the next video.